Swinging a high fly ball. They're off in the Kentucky Derby. Holy cow!
And here he goes! It's time to step across the line with James Collier as he takes you inside the octagon of sports. With the latest from the world of sports with scores, interviews, and the hardest-hitting analysis in the business. Let's step into the octagon of sports.
Let's go!
With your host, James Collier.
Welcome into Across the Lines on the Total Media Sports Network. James Collier, happy to have you along with us here as we go through week number 4, high school football scores. A lot of good games in the area last night, some big numbers that were put up on the scoreboards in some of these games as well. We'll check those in just a bit. Major League Baseball season, regular season, last 2 weeks. And some really big series that will play through this weekend. It'll be interesting to see who steps forward to make that final push into the postseason. And could we get some shuffling from my 6 and 7 that I've talked about? Again, I've said for over a month now, I've been locked in on 6 teams for the National League and 7 for the American League. But one American League team that's, I think, in no matter what, may have a big wrinkle to their plans moving forward if something plays out the way it did last night. We'll talk about that. NCAA football, some really good games on tap today. And the NFL week number 2, a good game. Green Bay, are they back? That's the question. And the question is that not only are they back in control of the NFC North, are they just in control of the NFC? That's still to be determined. One team that will be without their starting quarterback in week number 2. And that's a big loss for this team, to say the least. So we've got all that coming up, plus the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the week a little bit later on in the show. All right, let's go around local scores. Asheville, no problem, over East Jessamine, 41-6. It was East Carter in a shootout with Greenup County, 43-35. Raiders led that one 13-0. And then Greenup came back and put 14 up, and then it was tick for tat the rest of the way, and the Raiders pull away for the victory. Raceland on Hall of Fame night, no problem with Mercer County, 64-14 in running clock fashion. Fairview hangs on the road in West Liberty. They defeat Morgan County 26-22. The Cougars had the ball with a minute to go and were driving, but could not put it in. Russell, no problem with Paintsville, 41-0. They blanked the Tigers. Johnson Central over Pikeville, 35-14. This was a 14-14 ball game at halftime. Fleming County over Rowan County, 39-21. Estill County blanks Bath, 42-0. It was Garrard County over Lewis County, 45-7. Magoffin County over West Carter, 18-13. And Boyd County gets a big win on the road. They knock off Mason County, 42-6. So that's all of the scores from games around the local area. Now, there's still one big game in the area that's going to play this afternoon as Ironton welcomes in Canisius out of Buffalo, New York. The Crusaders coming into town. They've got a dynamic running back. This kid has like 30 D1 offers. And I'm not talking about offers from places like Marshall and Middle Tennessee State. We're talking about Georgia, Oregon, Ohio State, you name it, big ticket teams. They're after this kid. And he's going to be on display over at Tanks Memorial Stadium this afternoon. 1 o'clock kickoff. Our coverage will begin at 12:30 on 106.7 The Eagle on Talk Radio WIRO FM, as well as live stream. You can watch the game on Kool TV. Again, you know, we've had the one home game that was part of the Ironton Classic, the Ohio versus the U.S. or what, I can't remember the name of it. Anyways, but we could not stream that game simply because Flow Sports had the contract for that. And there's been some people that's been kind of upset why we've not been doing video streams. We just simply can't. But this week we can. Next week we can. So we will bring you live video as well as the audio on 106.7 WIRO. So Ironton football is coming. It's going to be here this afternoon. Should be a beautiful afternoon. It's going to be a little warm, though, and that'll be interesting to see with the temperature change from these guys coming in from Buffalo, how they're going to acclimate to the heat. Because, I mean, we're going to look in the mid to upper 80s today, and on the turf, you're going to be pushing into the high 90s probably. So Should be a good one. Looking forward to seeing the Tigers in action later this afternoon. All right, we'll step out for a break. We come back, we'll dive into Major League Baseball. 2 weeks of the regular season after this weekend left to go. Who can make that final push to make a move in the standings, or can somebody get in from the outside that's still trying to make that push across that hump and get themselves into that final 6? We'll talk about it as we continue here across the line on the Total Media Sports Network.
At Clark's Pump and Shop, we're not just a gas station, we're your neighbors.
We're the folks who support your child's sports teams, fuel your mornings with fresh ground coffee, and have a friendly staff that probably knows the name of your dog.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Tired of gas prices draining your wallet faster than your tank?
Download the Clark's Pump and Shop Rewards app. Earn discounts on gas, breakfast sandwiches, drinks, and more.
Fuel up, snack up, save up with Clark's Rewards. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical home, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vandsburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
Hi, I'm Kevin Anderson with First National Bank in Moorhead. From home, auto, and construction financing to refinancing options, we've got the tools to help move you forward. We also offer checking, savings, and full business banking solutions built to support you and your goals. Stop in to see us and let's talk about how we can help you. First National Bank, a tradition of value since 1902. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Temperatures are on the rise, and so is the bite, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Lewis, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter what species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style with a wide selection of tackle from Berkley, Strike King, Zoom, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
Kicking off your sports Saturday with Across the Line, right here on the Total Media Sports Network and 105.7
on the Total Media Sports Network as we go into Major League Baseball. Man, we had some good games last night. A walk-off on the West Coast. San Francisco, the hottest team in baseball right now. And that pains me because of the fact that Rafi Devers went to the way that he did, leaving the Red Sox, going to the Red Sox. I think it was a good mix of that happening, but either way. Yankees over the Red Sox 4-1 in Boston last night. Lucas Giolito takes the loss. That's a big loss for the Red Sox. Again, they're a game and a half now behind the Yankees. They're still in that fifth place, but right now, if everything plays out the way it is, Yankees-Red Sox are going to play in a 3-game series in the Bronx in that wild card weekend. You don't want to go into the postseason giving the team that you've dominated all year a chance to start believing they have a way to beat you. And that's kind of what's happening right now. Cubs over the Rays 6-4. It was the Nationals over the Pirates 6-5. Phillies beat the Royals 8-2. It was the Blue Jays over the Orioles 6-1. Rangers beat the Mets, who have lost 7 straight now, 8-3. Guardians blanked the White Sox 4-0. It was the Marlins over the Tigers 8-2. Of Tigers note, Tariq Skubal left the game after 45 pitches with left side tightness. They have imaging scheduled, but that is a huge blow. He suffers the loss, taking his 5th loss of the season. Still has a 2.26 ERA. Sandy Alcantara picks up his 9th win of the season. But the Marlins, 8 runs on 8 hits as they win Game 1 in that 3-game series. Astros over the Braves 11-3. Twins won better than the D-backs 9-8. Brewers stay red hot. They're the first team in baseball to 90 wins, and they're very close to punching their ticket into the postseason officially. They beat the Cardinals 8-2. Rockies double up the Padres 4-2 in San Diego. I got to take a moment on this one. So, for some of my colleagues at work at Racel Worthington High School, Becky Clear, Trey Mills, Josh Reed, who are big Cincinnati Reds fans, they were really, really pumped about this weekend. The Reds playing the Athletics. And I told them yesterday at work, I said, if the Reds get beat, I said, I'm going to do a proper burial for them on the show in the morning. And the Reds have exactly the amount of hope left in their season as the number of runs that they put up against the lowly Athletics. 0. The Reds get blanked 3-0 in Sacramento. The Reds are officially dead from my perspective. I think they've been dead for quite some time, but now only one game over 500. They still some hope in that last position of the wild card race, only because the Mets have just coughed it away. But there's a team ahead of them that's hot on the Mets' trail. I think they're going to chase them down is the crazy part. Mariners over the Angels 2-1, and in 10, the Giants get a walk-off grand slam to beat the Dodgers 5-1. So looking at the standings, in the American League East, the Toronto Blue Jays, a 3-game lead over the Yankees. They've got a 4.5-game lead over the Red Sox. Both the Yankees and the Blue Jays have gone 6 of their last 10 in the winners column. Red Sox, 5-5. They've lost 2 in a row. Detroit still a commanding lead in the Central, 7.5 games in front of Cleveland. Kansas City at an even 74-74. They're 10 games back. Cleveland, though, has won 8 of their last 10. I just don't know that they're going to be able to get to the Tigers by any stretch of the imagination. But obviously, if Skubal is lost for the season or lost for some point in time, it's going to make a difference coming down the stretch. The Seattle Mariners have won 7 straight. They are now in a tie for the American League West Division lead at 80-68 with the Houston Astros. Texas, 2 games behind at 78-70. Don't look now, but all of a sudden the American League West has turned into an absolute run down for 3 teams. This one's going to be a shootout all the way down the stretch. In the National League, the Phillies, a commanding 12-game lead over the New York Mets, who have lost 7 straight, 8 of their last 10. The Phillies, they're going to cruise in to the postseason, but all of a sudden they're chasing down the Milwaukee Brewers, and they're only 2 games behind them for the best record in baseball. The Milwaukee Brewers at 90-58, they've got a 5.5-game lead over the Cubs. The Reds sit at 74-73, 15.5 off the pace. A game and a half behind in the wild card. In the West, the Dodgers still a 2.5-game lead over the Padres. Both teams, though, have lost 6 of their last 10, but the San Francisco Giants have won 7 of their last 10. They're 7 off of the pace, but they're only a half game out of that final wild card spot. Arizona and Colorado. Colorado at 107 losses on the season. All right, here we go. Wild card. This is how it would play out if postseason started today. Toronto, Detroit, and then you've got the division winner out of the West, which we have a virtual tie for right now, between Houston and Seattle. So whichever team gets in is the 3 seed. The other team becomes the 6 seed. And the crazy thing of it is, the way it sets up right now, those 2 teams would play each other in the first round. So not only are you playing for a division championship, but you're also playing for home field advantage in that first round of the postseason. That's to say, if Detroit doesn't crumble back and fall into that 3rd spot and allow either Seattle or Houston to move into the 2nd spot. Yankees, a game and a half in front of the Red Sox as they play game 2 today up in Boston. I think for the Red Sox, they've got to get 2 of the 3 out of the series against the Yankees. You can't let the Yankees continue making strides forward. The Seattle Mariners, Houston Astros, again, one of those teams are going to be your 6. Texas is 2.5 or 2 back. Cleveland is 3.5. I just don't think anybody's going to run it down. I think Seattle right now is the most dangerous team. They're starting to click again when they kind of cooled off. I'm not going to be surprised to see the Seattle Mariners playing host to the Houston Astros in a 3-game series in the wild card. I think that is going to happen. It's going to be fun. you're going to get two division rivals that are going to play each other in the wild card. How crazy is that going to be? Now, in the National League, first off, we're still chasing with 6 teams. I think we're locked in with 6 teams in the American League. I've been playing at 7, that there's a possibility that Texas might be able to get there. They have won 5 straight, but the guys in front of them have been playing just as well. So I don't know that Texas is going to sneak in. I'm going to leave them on the bubble for now, though. Milwaukee, the best record in baseball, 90-58. Philadelphia, Los Angeles are your 2 and the 3. Cubbies are the 4. They've got a commanding lead in front of San Diego. And then the New York Mets are trying to just throw this thing away. They've lost 7 straight, 8 of their last 10. They're at 76-72, only a half game ahead of San Francisco for the 6th and final spot. The Deads, they're a game and a half back of that final wild card spot, and they've got, to close out their regular season, they've got games with the Cubs and the Brewers to wrap things up. So I don't think Cincinnati's going to be able to make a push. However, I think San Francisco is going to take over that 6th and final spot, as the New York Mets are going to give it away. So I had been completely in Sharpie for the last month of the National League. And all of a sudden, the Mets have collapsed again and have brought the San Francisco Giants back in. So I think we've got 7 teams that's running for 6 spots in the National League. I think there's 6 teams playing for 6 spots, just shuffling of order. But I'm going to leave the Rangers on the bubble in the American League at least for another week. And we'll see where we are when we get through next week and that final week of the regular season. All right, we'll step out for a break. When we come back, we'll take a look at college football and NFL scores. That's as we continue our coverage here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network.
Temperatures are on the rise, and so is the bite, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Lewes, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter what species of fish you are targeting,
Back
Borders
inside the
has
octagon,
the perfect setup to make
across
your
the
next
line,
trip on the water a
as
success.
we dive into college football.
Borders has
And
base
we've
in
had
every
some
size
really
and style
good
with a
games.
wide selection of tackle
Back
from
inside
Berkeley,
the
Strike
octagon,
King,
on
Zoom,
across the
Z-Man,
line.
Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
At Clark's Pump and Shop, we're not just a gas station, we're your neighbors.
We're the folks who support your child's sports teams. Fuel your mornings with fresh ground coffee and have a friendly staff that probably knows the name of your dog.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Tired of gas prices draining your wallet faster than your tank?
Download the Clark's Pump and Shop Rewards app. Earn discounts on gas, breakfast sandwiches, drinks, and more.
Fuel up, snack up, save up with Clark's Rewards. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Hi, I'm Kevin Anderson with First National Bank in Moorhead. From home, auto, and construction financing to refinancing options, we've got the tools to help move you forward. We also offer checking, savings, and full business banking solutions built to support you and your goals. Stop in to see us and let's talk about how we can help you. First National Bank, a tradition of value since 1902. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical home, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vanceburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
Hank FM weather.
Your Tri-State weather forecast is brought to you by Perry Distributing in Ironton and Ashland, proud distributors of Budweiser and Bud Light.
This morning we'll start off sunny with afternoon highs reaching 89 degrees. Moving into the evening, we'll see partly cloudy skies with lows falling down near 58. And to look ahead to Sunday, we'll see more sunshine again throughout the day with highs climbing toward 91.
More great country music from the legends coming up right after Across the Line with James Collier right here on 105.7 WLGC.
Back inside the octagon on Across the Line as we dive into college football. And man, we've had some really good games, some big upsets. I mean, how about USF? The Bulls just taking care of business against Boise in week 1 and then went to the Swamp and got a win over Florida last week. Can they find lightning in a bottle and do it 3 weeks in a row when they play Miami this week? How crazy would that be? USF taking over. Could we see a UCF type of thing? Next thing you know, they're going to run the table and they're going to claim that they're national champions. They'll be hanging banners and getting rings like UCF did a few years ago. All right, one game last night in top 25 action. Number 22 Indiana over Indiana State, 73-0. So no problem for the Hoosiers as they cruise in epic fashion. Games today, 12 o'clock slate. We've got number 4 Oregon at Northwestern in Big Ten play. Number 12 Clemson goes to Georgia Tech down at Bobby Dowd Stadium in Atlanta. Number 13 Oklahoma on the road in Temple at Lincoln Financial. Wisconsin visits Tuscaloosa and the 19th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide, who got one back last week, and they needed it. Obviously, stumbling out of the gate the way they did, had fallen to their lowest ranking that they'd had since 2008. So certainly, it's the Crimson Tide cannot afford any more stumbles. And the other part of this, I don't think Kalen DeBoer can afford any more stumbles. They are just about ready to run him out of Tuscaloosa as it is. So we'll see how it plays out. Alabama should have no problem with Wisconsin down at Bryant-Denny Stadium, 20.5-point favorite in that game. Central Michigan heads to Ann Arbor against 23rd ranked Michigan. At 12:45, South Alabama goes to Jordan Hare and the 24th ranked Auburn Tigers. Today at 1, Louisiana, the Ragin' Cajuns go to 25th ranked Missouri. 3:30, Villanova goes to Beaver Stadium and University Park and the 2nd ranked Nittany Lions of Penn State. A really good one today at 3:30, number 6 Georgia, number 15 Tennessee down at Knoxville and Neyland Stadium. Georgia a 3.5-point favorite in this one. And it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this because Georgia has just simply had Tennessee's number. This is a measuring stick for Tennessee to figure out where they are in the SEC. Are you in that elite group of a few teams at the top, or are you one of those guys that you're the front of the mediocre pack? And I think that's what we're going to find out about Tennessee this week. There's no doubt Georgia is a phenomenal football team. They're ranked 6th. Obviously, I think there's some room there that probably shifts around, but Georgia wins this one, they'll definitely move into the top 5. Getting a rank over an opponent on the road and an SEC opponent. But this is a time that Tennessee has to decide, are we going to sit at the big boys table, or are we going to continue to sit over here in the corner in the kids table with the SEC? Oregon State, 21st ranked Texas Tech out down in Lubbock. At 4 o'clock, number 14 Iowa State goes to Arkansas State. Today at 4:15, UTEP heads to 7th ranked Texas. Arch Manning, don't anoint him the way they did in the preseason. Now, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's thrown for just under 500 yards through the first 2 games. I don't know how much it was Arch Manning as it was Ohio State in that season opener when they went to Columbus in the shoe. The basics of it was, though, is that everybody was ready to just hand the Heisman Trophy to Arch Manning. And he looked mundane at best in that game. And it's one of those deals that I think we get so caught up on, what have you done for me lately? We forget about the whole picture. And that's the thing, is that if he was going to have a dud of a game, and I think for the most part, besides a blip here and a blip there, he had a dud of a game. A lot of throws were off the mark. They were underthrown, overthrown. The big 4th down stop that they had at the goal line, I think that it's the best place for it to happen because you've got all of these other games in front of you, 11 more contests over the next 12, 13 weeks that everybody can forget about that game. And if you say, well, they're not going to forget about that game, ask Notre Dame if anybody forgot about that game. They lost to NIU last year and ended up in the national championship. So It's what have you done for me lately? And if you're going to lose in August, lose in September. But then when you get to October and November, you got to be on your game. Everything has to be there. And I think for Arch Manning, that's where he has to be. Every week it has to be a step forward, no steps backward, for him to get to where he wants to be. This is an intriguing matchup. 18th ranked South Florida, who has beaten Florida last week. They beat Boise State, who was ranked 25th in week number 1. Now they've got themselves ranked 18th. They go to Miami, the 5th ranked Miami, and they've got to figure out a way to get past this team. Think about this. You're a ranked opponent playing the number 5 team in the nation, and you are a 17.5-point underdog. So South Florida trying to take over Florida after getting a win in the Swamp last week, this would send shockwaves across college football. They might just go and start hanging banners if they win this game. The battle for Ohio tonight at 7 up in Columbus, Ohio and Ohio State. Ohio State, I'm telling you right now, they are legit. I'm not an Ohio State fan. I hate Ohio State. But their defense is going to get them places when their offense simply doesn't. And for the Buckeyes, in one of the toughest conferences in football, the SEC, it's the SEC and the Big Ten, and it's everybody else, okay? Let's just be honest. You look at your rankings, top 10, and it's full of nothing but SEC and Big Ten powerhouses. But if Ohio State can run the table, and again, you've got a couple of games in there that you've got to figure out who it's going to be. Obviously, the Penn State matchup. Can you find a way to get past Michigan? There's some other pieces along the way, but if Ohio State runs the table through the Big Ten, it might be Ohio State in the field when the college football playoffs start. It's going to be certainly one to keep an eye on. Western Michigan heads to 9th-ranked Illinois. Arkansas at 17th-ranked Ole Miss. Florida goes to the Baton Rouge and the Baton Rouge into Death Valley. And they go against number 3 ranked LSU. A really dandy football game tonight. I think this one has a lot of implications of what's going to happen for one of these two teams. But 16th ranked Texas A&M goes to South Bend and hooks up with Notre Dame. Notre Dame ranked 8th after starting the season 0-1. This will be interesting to see Notre Dame. If they lose in the first 2 weeks, could they possibly still find a way to put themselves in a conversation for the playoffs? I think we get some teams with 2 losses that probably get into the playoffs. But can Notre Dame, without a conference championship, do enough to get themselves in that picture? We all know how I feel about Notre Dame. There's always the apologists for Notre Dame. But 7:30 tonight, I'll be locked in for that one. That one will be a good one. Vanderbilt goes to 11th ranked South Carolina. I really like the South Carolina team. Shane Beamer has his team playing extremely well. They're really, really locked in. And when things start rolling, it rolls quick. Pavia, their quarterback, I think he's phenomenal. He's a great story. He's got the moxie to be that quarterback. But this is probably the first time, and I couldn't remember when, that South Carolina has been relevant in the SEC. So certainly will be a good one there, but I think South Carolina's a team that you're going to keep an eye on. They're in that same conversation as Tennessee. A rank of 11th. Can they say, yeah, we deserve to be at the big boys table with Georgia, with Alabama, and with Texas? You know, I think those are your perennial front runners for the SEC. The question is that can they get to that table? We'll see how it plays out. But this one should be a good one. Only a 2.5-point favorite, though, at home against an unranked Vanderbilt team who is undefeated, by the way. Last game of the night, 8 o'clock, Number 20, Utah heads to Wyoming. Again, the Utes playing out west, and again, a lot of these West Coast games, you don't know what you're going to get a lot of times. So, a lot of good games though on top 25. Some top 25 actions that we'll get together. But the two games I'm really locked in for. I want to see what South Florida can do with Miami. Can a Hurricane take care of business? And then on the other side of that, Texas A&M and Notre Dame. And then the backside, I think we got to keep an eye on Florida LSU. Because LSU is another team that, okay, they've got a good start. They got their first win for a season opener under Brian Kelly. Now, are they one of those teams that are at the head of the table of the SEC? Right now, yes. But a stumble of the toe against Florida at home would certainly drop their hopes for that piece very substantially. All right, let's step out for a break. We come back, we'll dive into the NFL. Week number 2, one game already in the books. A good one on Thursday Night Football between Green Bay and Washington. We'll break it down when we continue after this here on the Total Media Sports Network.
Temperatures are on the rise, and so is the bite, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Lewes, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter what species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style with a wide selection of tackle from Berkley, Strike King, Zoom, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
At Clark's Pump and Shop, we're not just a gas station. We're your neighbors.
We're the folks who support your child's sports teams. Fuel your mornings with fresh ground coffee and have a friendly staff that probably knows the name of your dog.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Tired of gas prices draining your wallet faster than your tank?
Download the Clark's Pump and Shop Rewards app. Earn discounts on gas, breakfast sandwiches, drinks, and more.
Fuel up, snack up, save up with Clark's Rewards. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Hi, I'm Kevin Anderson with First National Bank in Moorhead. From home, auto, and construction financing to refinancing options, we've got the tools to help move you forward. We also offer checking, savings, and full business banking solutions built to support you and your goals. Stop in to see us and let's talk about how we can help you. First National Bank, a tradition of value since 1902. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical home, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vanceburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
Let's get back inside the Octagon of Sports with James Collier and Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network and 105.7 WLGC.
Back inside the Octagon on the Total Media Sports Network as we dive into the NFL. Thursday Night Football. Commanders at the Packers, and the Packers look the part of the team that is going to control the NFC. You know, we very well have already had a changing of the guard with the Detroit Lions. And the big thing with the Lions is they were the team last year. Everybody had them picked, including me, to go to the Super Bowl and represent the NFC. And the same thing that happens so many times that we see in the postseason, teams get that bye in the first round, they get a week off, they come back in the divisional round, and they get busted up by a team that's lesser than them. And that's exactly what happened last year when Washington knocked them off in Detroit. So, Green Bay made some great moves. And, of course, the biggest move of going out and getting Micah Parsons. Bad back and all, this dude is elite. And he has already made waves in Lambeau. 27-18 your final. The score was nowhere near as close as what it sounds. This was a 14-3 game at the half. Green Bay pushed it out to 17-3 in the third quarter. Washington got 15 points back in the fourth with some trash time scores late. for some of you fantasy people, Debo Samuel and Zach Ertz. Ertz, I'm happy that he got his touchdown, though, because I had him on my fantasy team. So it was a good pickup for me this week. He was only supposed to get 8 points. He ended up with like 17. So that was really good. Jordan Love, though, 19 of 31, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs, 23 carries, 84 yards, a touchdown. The big name was Tucker Kraft, who was the tight end that I should have picked up. What a game that he had, as 6 catches, 124 yards, and a touchdown to lead Green Bay to a 2-0 start on the season. Now, how big is that? They've beaten 2 teams that were in the playoffs last year. The Lions and then the Commanders. Lions in the divisional round, Commanders in the NFC Championship when they played against the Eagles. But back-to-back playoff teams that they beat in weeks 1 and 2 of the regular season, the 2025 season. Jordan Love looks really good. He looks comfortable. And Matt LaFleur, he's a phenomenal coach. I think he does a great job with what he does and how he leads that team. And they've got the pieces there around him that allows him to be uber successful. So we'll see how things play out. But right now it looks like Green Bay is the team to chase down in the NFC. All right, 1 o'clock games tomorrow. The Jaguars are in Cincinnati against the Bengals. The Bengals a 3.5-point favorite. They stunk it up against Cleveland last week and somehow found a way to get out of there with a victory. But how big of a meltdown moment would it have been for Bengals fans? After all of the talk that they had, they did all that play with their regular players to open up the preseason, and they needed to get things going in the right direction from the word go, and then they would have laid an egg and lost in week 1. But now, an opportunity for them to get a 2-0 start. Trevor Lawrence, I've put him on notice. This is the year that he either needs to show up or shut up. And I think that if he does not show up in a big way, Jacksonville is going to have to look in a different way. And again, I know that Jacksonville is not an elite program, but Trevor Lawrence has been there long enough to where he should have been making strides forward. He's not been doing that. But I like the Bengals in this one. I think they cover easy. They're a 3.5-point favorite. I think they cover by at least a touchdown in this one. NFC East showdown with a pair of 0-1 games, 0-1 teams, I should say. Giants are in Dallas against the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, stop the press. Here's the thing. The New York Giants are hanging on with everything they've got right now with Russell Wilson. When the truth of the matter is, it's time to go to Jackson Dart. There's no better time than the present to understand you are a team that is not going to be competitive in one of the toughest divisions in football when you've got Philadelphia and Washington sitting ahead of you. The Dallas Cowboys are a train wreck because Jerry Jones will not go away. Hence the reason why Micah Parsons is no longer there. And the New York Giants are they're not a team that anybody cares about. And, they brought in Russell Wilson. They brought in, I just lost his name. I could see his face, and I just lost his name. He didn't even make the cut. He's QB3. And Jameis Winston, there we go. Just lost it here. But Jackson Dart, QB2. And I think that we see a transition to Jackson Dart way before we see the second coming of Russell Wilson in the Giants. I really like Jackson Dart. I think the kid throws a good ball. I think he's got a lot of stuff to learn and move forward. But I think he's going to be a phenomenal quarterback for his team. Bears-Lions at 1 o'clock in Ford Field in Detroit. Caleb Williams played a really good first half Monday night, stunk it up in the second half. That ain't going to get it done. You get your new head coach, Ben Johnson, who was the coordinator for the Detroit Lions. You've got your guy. This is a year that Caleb Williams either does it or doesn't. And if he doesn't, the Bears are going to have to move on and just call this, hey, this was a bad move on our side. Rams are in Nashville against the Titans. Patriots in Miami against the Dolphins. Either one of these two teams, if they lose this game this weekend, their chances of the playoffs are gone. You know, Drake May looked the part some last week, but then the Patriots just I still don't understand the call by Mike Vrabel when they were down 10 with 5 minutes to go in the ball game, and it was like 4th and 4, and he punched the ball away. Your defense hadn't stopped anybody most of the second half. Why in the world did you think you were going to make a stop there and get 2 possessions to get the ball back? So there's all kinds of turmoil in Miami. They've already had a players-only meeting. We've played 1 week. So Miami is a 1.5 favorite only because it's at home. The Patriots suck in Miami, though. They really do. This would be a game that they need to go win in the worst way. We'll see how things play out. 49ers at the Saints. 49ers, though, no Brock Purdy. He's hurt. So it's going to be the Mac Jones show. And if you are not familiar with Mac Jones, I will give you a lock that will hit. I guarantee this is a stone-cold lead pipe lock. Bet him to throw an interception. He'll probably throw 2 or 3, but he'll throw at least 1. And he just looks like he is totally clueless when he does it. He may throw a 50-yard bomb and then turn right back around and throw a pick 6. But Mac Jones will get the start. Christian McCaffrey last week, 22 carries for 69 yards. Spencer Rattler, the start for the Saints. He threw for 214 yards in the loss in week number 1. Bills at the Jets. What a comeback in that Sunday night game. I laid down in bed Sunday night, and I had the game on, and I was about ready to turn it off. It was that last 5 minutes. I said, well, I'm going to see what Buffalo does with it. And they go down and score. And I'm like, okay, I'm at least going to be intrigued to see this thing through. Well, then the Ravens get the ball back, and Derrick Henry puts it on the turf. And all of a sudden, I'm like, is this really going to happen? And then Buffalo walks it off with the win. What a phenomenal finish. Listen, that is the AFC Championship game every day and twice on Sunday. And I am here for that. I cannot wait to see that game again. That was 2 powerhouses. Lit the scoreboard up, but that's just simply because of the offense that you've got. Derrick Henry nearly ran for 200 yards. Josh Allen looked apart. Lamar Jackson looked apart. It was just one costly turnover, but the Ravens gave up a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter. Stop me the last time you've heard that. That's something that happens with them over and over and over. But they've got to figure out a way. John Harbaugh has got to find a way early in the season for his teams not to cough up big-time leads. Seahawks go to Pittsburgh. A big win for Aaron Rodgers in his debut in the black and gold. 244 yards, 4 tutties last week. The Seahawks, you know, they're trying to figure some stuff out, obviously. They've got Sam Darnold there. Smith and Jigba, 9 catches for 124 yards last week. I mean, it's no secret that he's going to be the big guy to go to. It's just, can they figure out a way to do enough there in the NFC West? Browns are at the Ravens. The Ravens are an 11.5-point favorite in that game. That is a line that you simply do not see in the NFL. A double-digit line of a favorite. But the Ravens, they're going to play with a lot of aggression in this. Joe Flacco last week, 290 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions against the Cincinnati Bengals. Derrick Henry, 18 carries, 169, 2 tutties. Zay Flowers, 7 catches for 141 and a touchdown in the losing effort to Buffalo. Broncos are at the Colts. Broncos a favorite in this one up at Lucas Oil. Daniel Jones, he's still the same Daniel Jones that was in New York. He just played against a really bad team last week and looked okay. 272 yards and a touchdown. We'll see how he plays against the Broncos, who have a much better defense than what he saw last week. That's your first 4:05 game. Carolina heads to Arizona against the Cardinals. Kyler Murray last week, 2 touchdown passes. Marvin Harrison Jr., 5 catches for 71 and a score. Maybe one of the biggest games that we'll see in the regular season. Up in Arrowhead in Kansas City, Eagles-Chiefs rematch of last year's Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, 258 and a touchdown. Jalen Hurts didn't have to do a lot. He did it with his feet against the Cowboys. But this one will be a really big one. Could the Chiefs start 0-2? And if the Chiefs do start 0-2, where are their possibilities of making the postseason? Sunday Night Football, Falcons go to the Vikings up in Minneapolis. Michael Penix Jr. against J.J. McCarthy. Monday Night Football, we get 2 games this week. The Buccaneers are at the Texans. That game plays at 7. And then the 10 o'clock game, I really want to watch this game, but it's going to be so late I won't be able to. Chargers, Raiders. Geno Smith last week lit the Patriots up for 362 yards, a touchdown. Amari Hampton, 15 carries and 48 yards for the Chargers. And Brock Bowers, 5 catches for 103, the big tight end there for the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back. It's the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. That's as we continue our coverage here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network.
At Clark's Pump and Shop, we're not just a gas station, we're your neighbors.
We're the folks who support your child's sports teams. Fuel your mornings with fresh ground coffee and have a friendly staff that probably knows the name of your dog.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Tired of gas prices draining your wallet faster than your tank?
Download the Clark's Pump and Shop Rewards app. Earn discounts on gas, breakfast sandwiches, drinks, and more.
Fuel up, snack up, save up with Clark's Rewards. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical home, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vanceburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
Temperatures are on the rise, and so is the bite, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Lewes, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter what species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style with a wide selection of tackle from Berkley, Strike King, Zoom, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
Hi, I'm Kevin Anderson with First National Bank in Moorhead. From home, auto, and construction financing to refinancing options, we've got the tools to help move you forward. We also offer checking, savings, and full business banking solutions built to support you and your goals. Stop in to see us and let's talk about how we can help you. First National Bank, a tradition of value since 1902. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I'm Paul Stevens. Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica Kirk, speaking after the assassination of her husband earlier this week.
I want to thank my husband's dear friend, Vice President Vance, and his phenomenal wife, Usha, for their love and support. You guys honored my husband so well, bringing him home.
Charlie Kirk's body flown home to Arizona on Air Force 2. A 22-year-old suspected gunman has also been arrested. Up next, for a White House crime crackdown, Memphis, Tennessee.
No word yet on logistics or timing for a troop surge to Memphis. The president saying he preferred going to Chicago, though faced resistance from Democrats. Mayor Brandon Johnson, Governor J.B. Pritzker, and what he calls professional agitators.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. America's listening to Fox News.
This is Across the Line with James Collier on the Total Media Sports Network and 105.7 WLGC.
Back on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network. Time for the rant of the week. Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 in Cannonsburg. For all your hunting and fishing needs, as well as those Liberty gun safes, go see Brad and the gang. They'll get you all squared away. Gun season's coming. It's deer season right now, archery season. But they've got all kinds of great things on sale. Fishing, hunting, you name it, it's there. It's not too early to start thinking about Christmas. Here we are in the 13th day of September. We're talking about 3 months away. So maybe one of those Liberty gun safes, maybe some new fishing stuff, some rods and reels, maybe a new gun for the collector, or anything that you're out there for your avid outdoorsman. They do have layaway available, so it gives you plenty of time to get that item and get it all paid for before Christmas. So if you're looking for something for that avid outdoorsman, go see Brad and the gang out at Borders. They'll get you all squared away. Respect. That's the key word this week. And if you know me all too well, you know I do not get intertwined in politics, okay? I can't even really tell you the difference between the right and the left. I know one's one and the other one's, I couldn't keep up with what's what. I don't care. I don't care if you're right, you're left, if you're red, you're blue. I'm not a politics kind of person. And again, I'm not taking this to a political side. So everybody that's out there getting ready to jump all over me over this, I'm not going that way. I'm going off of the respect side of things, where we have simply gotten so cold-hearted as a society that we have no respect for the human life. And the side I'm going with this is, so Charlie Kirk, who was murdered, assassinated, whatever you want to call it, earlier this week, whether you liked Charlie Kirk or you did not like Charlie Kirk, he was a guy that it was one way or the other. There was no riding the fence with this guy. You either liked him or you did not. And there was as many people who liked him and thought he was the next prophecy, basically, and there was people that thought he was Lucifer. Well, for whatever reason, somebody took his life. And I saw videos on social media where people were basically cheering his death. And I don't get it. It's, how have we gotten to the point to where the loss of someone's life makes us happy? How are we so cold and just numb inside that a person gets shot in a public area and it's just like, we're happy that it happened. Like we're having a celebration. And then the backside of this, going to this too, there was a school shooting that same day in Denver. And it was like buried down on most of the mainstream media's stuff because we've just gotten so numb to school shootings that it's just a thing that happens now. But where did the sensitivity of what the meaning of a human life is, where did it go by the wayside? And why did it go by the wayside? You know, I don't get these people that they just get on social media and start spouting off about, you know, they're so happy that Charlie Kirk is dead, or that this person had this happen and this had this happen and they got what was coming to them. First off, why do you feel like that you need to get on social media and just start blasting all of your opinions to the world to hear? Because truth be known, they probably don't really care anyways. Some of you may not care what I say here, and that's okay. You know, that's the difference of opinions that we have. But the thing of the division of the road is, you may not like my opinions. I may not like your opinions. But the thing I can do is that I can respect your thoughts, your beliefs, if you respect mine. And it's, you know, respect is a two-way street. You've heard me talk about this many times on this show. It's not something that is given. It's earned. And that's where we really struggle. We forget that respect should be earned. It's not given. And we see so many of our youth, our teenagers, our early 20s kids, that they don't understand that. They think that they deserve respect when they need to earn it. But when we have people that are so shallow that a human being is murdered in cold blood and we celebrate that death, I mean, that tells you where we are and where we're headed as a society. And every time that I go into this rant, all it does is just continues to go deeper and deeper and deeper into a dark hole. And I don't know that there's ever a chance of coming out of it. I don't get it. Where did we lose the respect side for our fellow mankind? I don't get it. It's just, you know, there's been videos surfacing around of, you can see Charlie Kirk getting shot. And it's like, why do I want to watch that? Like, somebody died there. Like, that is somebody's family that is dead now. They are missing a person in their family. I don't want to see that. Why does it need to be out there? You know, and think about if that was somebody in your family and your family got the same treatment and the world was sitting there watching your family die. I don't know. It makes me sick inside to think about it. But I was raised differently, I guess. I was raised to respect your elders. You don't talk back to people. When somebody tells you in a sign of authority, you don't start blasting them and cursing them and throwing stuff. And I want to talk to your supervisor. I mean, it's one thing after another. It's like the Karen last week in Philadelphia. Boy, how'd that work out for her? Not too good. It'll probably be one of the top Halloween costumes this year. But hey, that kid and the family who probably did the as respectful thing that they could have done, just basically gave her the ball and said, go away. Well, the kid got a ball, so did his sister. They got some stuff from the Miami Marlins. They met Josh Hader and got a signed bat by him. I saw a report, some guy's going to send him to the World Series this year. Hey, it pays to do the right thing. Maybe let's try some respect and see what that does. It may not get you tickets from the World Series, but it might get you a little bit better connection in society. That's the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the week. That's going to do it for us this week. Hey, don't forget today, over at the Tank, Ironton and Canisius out of Buffalo, New York. They'll square it off. Should be a really good football team coming in, and Ironton is solid as well. But this is going to be a great football game. Today at 1 o'clock, you can listen to it on 106.7 FM, WIRO, or you can watch it on Kool TV. Pre-game begins at 12:30. Enjoy the weekend. We will talk next week. For everyone at the Total Media Sports Network, Dwayne Elliott, I'm James Collier. Have a great weekend, everyone.
You've been listening to Across the Line with James Collier on 105.7 WLGC FM and the Total Media Sports Network. Tune in each Saturday morning beginning at 10 for the latest news and analysis from inside the Octagon of Sports on 105.7 WLGC FM, Greenup, Ashland, and